It's during the Christmas season and the celebrations are at their peak. The town is bustling with activities, it's almost painted red and white. Anyway, it's the season of happiness. There's no difference between day and night since the nights are well lit and activities ongoing as usual. The theatre is almost full with so many people present to watch the play, both young and old were present. Mary had come along with her brother and friend since they had booked their tickets earlier on. They sat at the back and waited while chatting. Within a short while, the hall was full as expected during the festive season. The play was great and everyone enjoyed it. Some were laughing while others were crying. It was all happy when it came to an end. People started leaving in groups, squeezing at the exit. Mary and her friends were on the line going out. At the door when Mary was about to get out, she was knocked down by some guy. She screamed out. The guy was about to disappear before trouble begins, but he was not lucky. Mary's brother, Fred, caught up with him and threw a heavy punch which did not miss. It landed on his face and he fell on the ground. Mary knew her brother was so defensive of her and would not take it easy on anyone intending to cause harm to her. After she got up, she realized she was not hurt that much, and she managed to walk up to them. Though limping, her brother had again grabbed the guy by the collar of his shirt and was about to hit him again when Mary asked him not to. She asked him to let him go since she was not badly injured. Fred was mad at her. "My lovely sister is at it again, always being soft-hearted, but you are wrong this time. I wouldn't let him go. If he had pulled you up and apologized when he knocked you down, Elle would consider, but the fact that he was trying to escape got me angered the most, and so I'll have him taste a little bit of me and then let him apologize to you." Mary was not happy that someone was being beaten up because of her, but then what Fred said made sense. If he was a nice guy, he would at least say sorry, so he deserved that. All this while they didn't realize that the guy was staring at Mary. When Fred realized that, he hit the guy again, asking if was staring at how he had injured his sister. He asked what his name was and asked him to apologize. The guy was smiling instead of showing a pained expression, and he was quick to tell his name as Greg. He got up struggling and walked up to Mary and apologized. It was not in his habit to apologize. In fact, Greg was not as nice as he seemed. His prior action had shown that, but then he had to say sorry to the pretty girl in front of him. He was simply fascinated by her looks. Mary, her brother, and her friends left. Her brother was the driver. He dropped their friends one by one and then went home with his sister. They were driving swiftly for a while, and when they were almost home, Fred noticed a low-key car trailing behind them. He decided to slow down and see if the car was following them. The vehicle behind slowed down. Fred increased the speed and the car behind also sped up. He stopped abruptly and got out. Mary had also realized the car behind, and when Fred got out, he locked the car and asked her to stay in the car. The other car also stopped. Greg got out smiling foolishly at Fred, who was so annoyed seeing the guy again. He asked him why he has been following them, preparing for another fight, but then Greg told him to take it easy. He tried to look cool and asked what the problem was. Greg said that he had forgotten to collect Mary's number. This angered Fred the more. He warned him to stay away from his sister. They had started on the wrong path and Fred didn't see anything good about this guy. Greg wasn't overly nice, so when he realized Fred would not let him, he walked to their car where Mary was. He knocked on the window, and when she saw him, she shouted for him to go away. By then Fred had caught up with him and hit him on the head. He groaned in pain as he fell. Fred then got into the car and drove off, leaving him there. It wasn't a long distance from where they were to their home, so Greg marked where the car had gone to. That was because he had plans of coming back later. He didn't believe in not getting what he wanted. Mary and Fred got home. They had dinner before leaving home, so they went to their separate rooms, freshened up, and went to sleep. On the other side, Greg stood up after some time and walked to their gate. He surveyed the area before going back to his car and leaving. He has to make things right with this guy if he has to get the girl he is interested in. That was one. He knew he was good at pretending, so he would play nice for a while. It won't hurt, and if it does, it would not be much. He drove off and went back to his house. Greg was a young and successful businessman. His parents are both late. They were both involved in the real estate business, and when they were no more, he took over their businesses and inheritance. He's not the only child. He has a younger sister, but they don't get along well since she is a perfectionist while he's always on the wrong. He feels that she's too much whenever she's around. So he bought her a house far away and he always provides whatever she needs. Her bank account is topped up every end month. It's not only his sister he finds troublesome, but almost all women. He's less interested in them, they are always nagging and begging for attention, so this recent occurrence is new to him. He even doesn't understand why he is interested in that girl, but that was it. No matter what, he has to get what his heart desires. When he got home, he freshened up and attended to his partly swollen face, and when he felt much better, he drank a glass of wine while pondering on how to go about this whole thing. After some time, he called his assistant, Moses, and asked him to do a background check on Mary and her family. He needed to know her better now that he had decided to pursue her. The festivities ended well, with the beginning of the new year, and people got back to business and other respective jobs as well. Mary was an intern doctor at the Good Cure Hospital since she had recently graduated, but she still was under the financial support of her family. They did that without complaining. Her brother would also give her money even without asking for it. The hospital was far and she was out of time, and when her leave ended she had to travel back to work. She spent the whole morning packing. She had been home for a few days and she had such huge luggage. Her brother would be driving her to the airport. She would be late if she drove all the way. It takes almost 5 hours. She wasn't ready for all the fatigue when she can spend much less time on the plane. When she was done, she bid her family goodbye and left with her brother. She liked being a doctor, but her father had tried to tell her to choose another career on the basis that medicine would be tiresome and she would not have time for herself. He also didn't want his baby girl to get so serious since she lacked nothing. She remembers him suggesting fashion design as a better option for her, but she rejected the idea and stuck to being a doctor. That's why even when she has a bad day at work she doesn't dare complain to her father. He will always tell her that he warned her against it. She talks about it with Fred since he supports her in whatever she wants to do. They left. Fred was driving while listening to his favorite music from his favorite artist Otile Brown. Mary liked his music too. Sometimes she would sing along. They talked about random issues till they got to the airport. Fred did not forget to remind her to tell him of anyone who tries to bully her. He always had a way of dealing with those bullies. Mary laughed at that reminder. She hugged her brother before they parted and he left. On the other hand, Greg asked Moses to check out on her, and when he came back he had all her information including her age and contact details. He sent her an email but she didn't reply. He wished to see her, so in the evening he decided to pretend to be her friend and went looking for her. When he got to the gate, he told the gate man to call her out that her longtime friend was looking for her. The gateman was in doubt. He told him that Mary had gone back to work. Greg had done a background check and he knew she had studied medicine. To indirectly ask which hospital she worked at, he asked if she had been transferred or was still working at the same place. The gate man told him that she was still working at the Good Cure Hospital. Since it was a famous hospital, Greg didn't need to ask for more information lest he gets discovered. It was then it dawned on him that she was out of town. He felt disappointed but could not show it. He left with a mood that wasn't pleasant. He had a lot to do at the company, so it would not be easy to make time to travel, but he would give it a trial. Considering the way he was held up, he needed about a week before he could ease the load of work at his disposal. With that, he sent out one of his men to keep an eye on her, as he prepares to go and see her. "Greg, I have a lot to do and I need to get this girl no matter what," he said to himself. When Mary got to her apartment, she was so exhausted, she slumped on the sofa. The place was already dusty. She sneezed and jumped up from the sofa. It was evident she could not rest on the sofa, so she went straight to her bedroom, freshened up, changed her bedding, then lay down for a while. She was later woken up by a phone call from Fred, who wanted to know if she arrived safely. Mary smiled sleepily before picking up the call. She was so lucky to have such a brother who doted on her that much. "Hey bro, just got home a while ago and decided to have some rest before calling you," she said before he could ask why she did not inform him when she arrived. "That tells you I am perfectly fine. You could not even wait for me to ask," he said. "Well, I knew what you would say, so I just answered your question in advance," she said, and they both laughed. Greg's guy has been following Mary to and fro for some time now without being noticed. He is good at what he is doing since he has been doing the job for years. Mary drives to work in the morning and comes back in the evening every day. She has a feeling that someone is following her around. Her immediate neighbor told her that there was a guy he saw a few days ago peeking at her door. Mary did not think much about it, but as it is now, she can feel some tension building up within her. The feeling is not good at all, but whatever it is, she is going to find out. She got home with a creepy feeling that day. From afar, before she could get down from the car, she saw something at her doorstep, seemingly like a huge dog or so. She wasn't sure what it was, so she walked out carefully and alert in case anything happens to her. When she got closer, she saw some movements from whatever it was. At a closer look, it did not seem like a dog but a human. This got her more worried. She got out her phone ready to call for help, but before she could do that, someone snatched the phone from her. She was so tensed up, but after a second of confusion she realized who it was. This was getting serious. How did this guy know where she was, and why on earth would he follow her all the way? It started to dawn on her that he might be the person who has been following her up and down. "It has been you all along, isn't it?" she asked him. "What did I do, my angel?" he asked in return. "Stop playing dumb." Mary was getting pissed, and he also noticed it. "So you have been following me around and you finally decided to show up just now?" "Oh fuck, so that bastard has been discovered. I thought he was smart enough," he cursed under his breath. "Are you not going to admit it?" she asked again. "Well, yeah, I have been watching you from afar since your charm could not let me stay away from you." "That's very rude and creepy. Couldn't you use a better mode of approach?" "Oh great. I have been waiting for some time now and you don't even want to welcome me to your house. Is this how you treat your visitors?" "My visitors and how they are treated have nothing to do with you, so if you have nothing meaningful here, just find your way out of this compound," Mary told Greg. "If you have to know, then I am going nowhere. I came all the way to see you and here you are sending me away. Don't you have the slightest consciousness? If you don't mind, would you kindly tell me why you are here? I mean, why did you come to see me? I thought you have a lot to do with your company, so how come you left the work behind?" "Well, if you must know, you are more important to me right now than the work. It can wait, but whatever I'm feeling for you cannot wait any longer, so please, just let me express myself to you. You are really something. Get in." Mary saw that he would not go soon and the cold outside was becoming extreme, so she let him in. "What can I offer you?" she asked him. "Anything." Mary came back with 2 glasses of juice and handed one to him. She was silently asking herself why she let him in, but deep down, she knew she liked him, but then she would not easily accept that fact. "So tell me, what is it that made you come here?" Greg coughed lightly before he began to explain himself. "You see, I know we did not have a pleasant beginning, and that is why I am here to make it right. If you allow me, can we kindly begin on a good tone?" Mary is confused yet pleased. She did not know he can speak so calmly. Right now he was so charming to her. What can she do to act uninterested for a little more time? Her mind is thinking so, but her heart is doing something else, racing as if it's in a marathon competition. To say her heart was betraying her would not be good, since her mouth did the worst by immediately accepting his request. "Yeah, sure, I think we should begin on a lighter note," he said before she knew it. Greg smiled widely at that. He knew it would be impossible for her to reject him when he was acting all loving. Well, that's an achievement for him. "Cheers to our new beginning," they toasted. The night could not have begun in a better way, but then Mary needed to rest since she would be required to go to work early the next morning. "Can I see you out, please?" she asked him. "Are you now chasing me out of your house?" he asked jokingly. "Not really, I just need to rest and have some time to think about this whole thing. It's okay if you don't want me to accompany you for the night, then I will have to go back to my hotel room." "Do have a good night then," said Mary. "Same to you, my dear, and keep it in mind I will be seeing you tomorrow." "It's okay." Mary closed the door when he left and went back smiling at herself. She could not believe that he was making her blush. She can't deny it, she has a feeling that she might get attached to him sooner than expected. That's because he's playing so tender. It has always been her dream to be with someone who treats her calmly and with tenderness, just the way her family has treated her since she was a child. According to her view, Greg seems like a qualified candidate. Greg came to visit her the following day after work and they spent the evening together talking about random stuff. The chemistry between them was greatly improving, and within the following few days, Greg invited Mary out on a date. She has been waiting for that moment when her Prince Charming will ask her out on a date, and the day is finally here. She can't help but feel sweet. They went out to a classic restaurant, and according to her observation, this guy had cash, real money, since he brings Her expensive gifts and flowers every day he comes visiting, and this restaurant is not for the ordinary. Only the rich can afford to pay for a cup of coffee, let alone a whole dinner. Wow, this is the life I always want to live, no straining of whatever kind. She fell harder for the guy. The dinner was nothing she had before. Oh my goodness, she was treated like a queen. My God, where were you before? You are just coming out of nowhere and filling the vacant space in me. You got me. Greg was so romantic and treated her like a queen. She has been dreaming of such scenes and seeing them in movies, but she never thought it would come to her so soon. Mary wished that time could stand at that moment and let the rest of her life be just that sweet memory. The way Greg was looking at her was sending goosebumps all over her skin. For the next 2 months, Mary was having the best part of her life. She never thought she would feel so fulfilled. Greg proposed to her and Mary did not have to think for a second before accepting his proposal. I mean, who on earth would reject such an offer to an ever-happy life after? She might be a fool to reject him, and so she immediately agreed to marry him. The proposal was a surprise she did not expect so soon, but it sure happened. Mary called her brother and told him that she got engaged. Her brother was very surprised. Fred, how come I'm getting to know about it just now, and who is this guy? You thought you were not in any serious relationship with anyone, so how comes you are already engaged? Is it someone you met there, or is it someone I might be knowing? He had so many questions which he wanted to be answered. God, you asked so many questions. Where do I even start? Anyway, you got to know it now because it just happened, and for the person involved, you already know him. Really? Yes, Greg, the guy we met during the festivities and you ended up fighting him. Are seriously saying that you got engaged to that lunatic? Fred. He's not a lunatic, he's my fiancé, and he's nothing close to what you just described him as. My darling sister, it's only 3 months after you met him and you are already engaged. You don't even know who the guy really is. Don't be blinded by his pretense. I think it's just because you don't like him and that's why you think he is not right for me, but don't worry, you will get to know him better and you will realize that he is a nice guy. I feel I found everything I wanted in life in him and am no longer searching, so you better have that in mind, and now that we are engaged we might be getting married soon, so don't spoil my happy mood. Bye, sweet brother. She hanged up the call and continued smiling like a fool. Fred, what the hell is this girl getting herself into? She clearly doesn't know who she is dealing with. Fred doesn't know him too well too, but he can bet from his observations that Greg is not as good as he pretends to be. Something tells him that he might be after something, and once he gets it, he will get back to his real self, and he is really worried that his sister might suffer the consequences of her blind choice. What will I do now? He's wondering, how do I help this girl? I don't want anything bad happening to my sister, and she is part of my responsibility, and so he might find a way to help her out before it's too late. That evening when everyone was having dinner, Fred brought up the topic. Dad, do you think Mary has got to the age of getting married? He asked, and everyone looked at him. What are you talking about, and why are you asking that? Asked the mother. Well, she called me earlier today and told me that she is already engaged to someone. Are you sure of what you are saying? Yes, Mom, I would not joke with such an issue. I think it's not yet time for her. What do you mean it's not time for her? If my daughter has found a man she likes, then I have no objections. They can go ahead and get married. Besides, all her age mates are already married. She was left behind because she extended her studies, but before that, I would like to see the person who has got the heart of my princess. Their father was very happy. This is not going as he expected. Well, do you people think it's a good idea to get married to someone you barely know, someone you met not long ago? And what's wrong with that? When I and your father got married, we didn't even know each other. It was our parents' doing, but we lived happily after getting married, so they are even lucky to have met and have some time together, really. You people don't seem to understand what I'm talking about here. All I'm saying is that I don't like and I don't trust that guy. So you already know him? Asked the father. Yes, Dad, and I can bet that he isn't a good person just by looking at him. Their mother laughed at that. Do you people have a grudge or what? There must have been a misunderstanding between you two in the past, and that might be the reason why you don't like the poor guy. But don't worry, I'm sure his relationship with your sister is very good, given that she doesn't trust easily. That means he was good enough to get into her heart. Oh shit, things aren't going per the plan. These people don't know the guy in question. He might look good and act cool, but Fred can feel something off with him. He felt frustrated as his plan did not work. How comes then my daughter hasn't shared such good news with me? Her mother said, and picked up her phone and called Mary. Hello darling. Yes Mom. How are you doing over there? I'm doing good. I heard some good news from your brother, but you haven't told me why. So Fred already told you. People, yeah, but it would be better to hear from the horse's mouth. Well, what he told you is true. I got engaged to someone, but you people should not mind what he tells you. I know he doesn't like him. Oh really? So when are you bringing him home? We want to see and know our future in-law. Don't worry mom, we will come home soon. That's nice, we will be waiting for you. Just set the day when you will be available and we will be waiting for you people. Okay mom, thanks, say hi to dad and others too. Alright, sweetheart, we are happy for you. Mary said that she knows you don't like her fiancé, so we should not mind you. She laughed at her own statement. You people can think all you want, but I know what I am talking about. Okay, since they will be coming home, we will know him and scrutinize him to know who he really is, said their father. Greg in a hotel room. Greg is smoking while looking down through the window and thinking. I have really tried, so it sucks this much to wear the face of a sweet stupid person. He's already tired of pretending to be nice. Just a little more time. He needs to speed up things so that he can get back to his normal self. Whatever he wants, he gets, and he fell for Mary the first him back home, and so he has to make sure everything goes fast so that he can get back home and continue with his business. He saw her and he would not imagine another man having her, and that's why he will do everything possible to win. There are so things he can do by instructing his workers. According to the daily reports, his businesses were going on well back home, though he doesn't fully trust his operations with others. Greg had formed a habit of picking up and dropping her at work such that her colleagues were already fond of her romantic boyfriend, so that morning he dropped her to work and went back to his dealings. Even though he needs to be in the office, some things can be done by him instructing his workers on the phone. That evening, Greg picked Mary from work at the hospital. But he didn't drive her home. He told her that he has a surprise for her and she should just follow him silently. First went to a mall and he bought her a pair of matching outfits. It perfectly matched what he was wearing, such that when people then they would be left admiring the couple. His business is still waiting for him. So what he needs to do next is ask her if she is okay with them visiting her family and see how she reacts to that. When they left the mall, she asked where they were going next, but she was told it was a surprise too. Oh my goodness, she is feeling so sweet right now. The drive took around 40 minutes, and when they finally arrived, she couldn't believe her eyes. Oh my goodness, they came to her dream spot. She has always told everyone close to her that she wishes to visit this place and spend some time there, and now it's happening right before her, and much more sooner than she had expected. She unconsciously jumped on Greg and gave him a tight hug. He wasn't prepared for that, but he took it anyway. Are you for real? You brought me here? She asked with tears of joy in her eyes. Anything for my queen. Even if you ever dreamt of having the world in your hands, I would make sure you have it. This happiness cannot be contained. She took a lot of pictures and shared them with her friends and family. They were happy for her, but some friends got jealous because they thought her obsession with the place will always remain a dream. With all these happening to her, she cannot dare say no to this man who's making almost all her dreams come true. Greg asked when they were going home, and she told him that she also wanted to discuss that with him since her family already knew about him and they wanted to meet him. Wow, that got him unaware. He was prepared on convincing her, but it seems to be doing great with his trends. They set a date, which was a Saturday 1 week from then, and told her family to be waiting for them. Greg was happy that things were working in his favor, but then he was not as happy as Mary, who felt like a queen in her own world. The day finally came and they traveled home. Her family was eagerly waiting to see their in-law. All kinds of food and drinks were prepared. Greg felt at home after a very long time. He felt like this was his own family. He was all nice and warm-hearted. He had presents for everyone in the family. Oh no, that was a bribe, thought Fred, who was not happy at all, but he could not show it since he doesn't want to offend his sister. He doesn't want her to think that he is not happy for her, so he has to play along though not satisfied. His father and the rest wondered what he was talking about when he was saying that Greg is not a nice guy, when all they could see was someone who was so affectionate to their princess. He really doted on her according to his actions. And they gave them a go-ahead, but not with a tough talk with the father in the backyard. If you know what is good for you, don't dare mess with my daughter, or else you will not really enjoy the outcome. With that said, and being given the go-ahead, Greg was free to come with his people, pay the bride price and get his wife officially. The day was set again, and the wedding was set 3 weeks later since everything needed was available. Mary's family was so happy to have their daughter getting married, especially her mother, who was silently wondering if her daughter would get married since her age mates had gotten married earlier. After the wedding, the couple went on honeymoon in Zanzibar. There were other couples on the beach, but this particular one caught the attention of everyone. The couple appeared so loving. They stole the show for the 2 weeks they were there, to the extent some stopped taking pictures of themselves and started taking pictures of Greg and Mary. Wow, what a nice Some would be heard saying while others kept their opinions to themselves. Their moments there were so enjoyable that Mary wished that the period could not be ending soon, but then she could not stop time. Anyway, with things going on this way, she will enjoy more goodies in her marriage. Within the brink of the eye, their honeymoon period was over and now it was time to get back home and continue with their daily work. When signing out at the resort, the attendants were asking them to stay longer since they also noticed that the couple entertained the rest. "Other things are waiting up for us, man. We need to get going," said Greg. "I understand, man. All the best in your marriage, thank you," they said and left. The flight back home would take about 3 hours, so they will get home on time. Greg had bought another house. Since he was beginning a new life, he might as well start it in a new environment. That's why he decided to buy a new one and a bigger one. It would contain a bigger family. So his men have been working on the decor and everything else while they were on the honeymoon, and by the time they are getting back, everything is set. It just remains for them to get in and begin their life together as husband and wife. The stay in Zanzibar was so much fun and also tiring. So Mary fell asleep on the plane. Greg held her properly until she got up. When they were almost home, they got to the airport and his men were already waiting for them. He seems really prepared for everything. They took their luggage in one car and drove them in another car to their new home. Mary was mesmerized by the sight of the house. It looked more like a palace. "Are we going to be living here?" she asked, blinking her round big eyes. "Yeah, just you and me and the kids we are going to have soon. Darling, welcome home. This is your home from now onwards. Wow, I really love this place. You got a nice taste." "Yeah, sure, that's why I got you, my queen." They both laughed at that. "Welcome, welcome, boss." His men welcomed them. They went in and Greg took her around the house and then to their bedroom. They were both tired, so they took a warm bath and then rested. They woke up later in the evening and Greg wanted to go out. "Can I make you something to eat before you go out?" "No, you can be preparing dinner. I will have it when I get back. Let me first rush to the office and have a look. I will be back before you know it." He winked at her, took his car keys, and went out. Mary was left alone in the big house. She felt that she got all she wanted. She could not ask for more. She is for everyone, but then everyone has their favorite, and in her family, her brother Fred is her favorite, the one she tells everything before anyone else. They are always on good terms, and whenever they differ, it doesn't take long before they solve it and get back to their usual self. Like the issue with Greg, Fred had to admit that he cannot do anything about it and that he will not be getting in between his sister's happiness, but then he will be watching closely. She told him that she had so much fun in Zanzibar and they were back in town in case he wishes to visit her because she knows he must, so she gave him their address. Everything was going on well with their family. It was just her and her husband in the house, and the workers had their own area. Greg had already gotten back to work, so they would wake up early and Mary would make him breakfast and prepare him for work. It became the routine of every day. Sometimes he would come home really late and she would wait for her husband until he comes home and serve his food warm before going to sleep. So this particular evening Mary had cooked dinner but Greg was not home. She has been feeling unwell for the whole day, so she just went to rest for a little while because she knew he would not be coming soon. In the process she fell asleep for some time before Greg finally came, but then when he came and he did not see her in the sitting room as usual, he got furious, so he went to check in the bedroom and sure she was there and sound asleep. "Who allowed this woman to sleep before I get home? Seems she has grown some horns." He tapped her but she did not wake up and this got him more furious. She is even sound asleep. What gut she got. Without giving it a second thought, he hit her hard on her face. Mary jolted and sat up shaking. He really felt bad for startling her that bad, but she should know better than sleep before he gets home. Mary stared at him unbelievingly as if asking, "Did you really hit me that hard?" She passed her hand through her face and she could feel his fingers. Tears slowly welled up in her eyes, and she cried silently without speaking. "Why are you crying?" he asked her. "It's nothing." "Are you sure it's nothing? How dare you ask me why I'm crying when you clearly hit me so hard, leaving your fingerprints on my face?" "Well, why did you sleep when I'm not home? Is there a rule that says I should not?" "Definitely not, but you should also use some common sense. Are you saying I don't? Do you meet me asleep other days, or it's just today? And did you even bother to know why I slept that early, or you just jumped to conclusions and decided to hurt me for nothing? What has come over you?" Oh, Mary was getting furious. "You don't yell at me, woman. No matter what I did, I am sorry, but that doesn't give you the authority to yell at me. No one does, so respect yourself." "Oh, really? Okay, sir, I'm sorry for yelling at you. Let me go and serve your food since you are already home. I don't want His Royal Highness sleeping on an empty stomach, she said sarcastically and left, but then she did not get far before she fell on the floor. Greg, who was watching her from afar, was finding it funny. So you can't even walk straight? Have you lost your balance? He asked, laughing. When she did not reply or move, he walked towards her and panicked when he realized that she had passed out. How did this happen? Could it be as a result of the small slap I gave her? If so, then she must be very weak, or is something else happening to her? He wondered. Immediately he dialed his personal doctor's number. Hey Frank, I need you to come over right now. My wife just passed out. I don't know what happened to her. All right man, I will be there in a moment. Greg carried Mary back to their room and started pacing up and down while waiting for the doctor. It is as if the doctor was within because he came with no time. Hey man, what happened to your wife? I don't even know. She was going to the kitchen when she suddenly fell. The doctor went up to check what was happening to her, and her body was so hot, which was not normal. On top of it, he noticed the fingerprints on her face and looked at Greg knowingly. Don't tell me that you beat up your wife until she lost consciousness. Not really, it was just a small slap I gave her. Well, did you notice any abnormality with her before then? Like, was she behaving or doing things her usual way? At that point he got thinking, this is actually the first time she slept so early, so something might have been wrong with her. He did not think of that even when she told him that he could have asked why she was sleeping before slapping her. Well, not really, but she was asleep when I got home, yet she doesn't sleep that early, but I did not think that she might have been sick or something of the sort. My friend, we have known each other for ages. I know you are temperamental, but please don't take it out on this innocent woman. Don't let her see the beast in you, or else she might hate you. So I should allow her to disrespect me as I contain my cool. Well, did she disrespect you in any way? Actually, not any time that I can remember. Then don't be a monster and try to be the husband you chose to be. Remember, no one forced you to get married, and I'm sure that slap was uncalled for if you will be honest with me. Leave all that alone and tell me what is wrong with my wife. I hope it is not something serious. Well, let's see, but I'm afraid her temperatures are so high I really can't tell immediately what's wrong with her, but give me a moment. Be fast then. When the doctor did a closer examination on Mary, he realized that it was nothing serious. She was just suffering from the effects of environmental change, but under medication, she will soon be okay. That was a relief to Greg. He thought maybe something serious would happen to her. How come she is so weak? She is even affected by climate change. Well, he kept that to himself. The doctor prescribed what she would take and gave her an injection before he left, not forgetting to remind Greg to take care of his wife. Mary woke up late the following morning. She had overslept. Oh my goodness, her husband needs to go to work. When she got up, she wanted to rush down to the kitchen, but then realized that she did not have the strength. She sat back on the bed and wondered what had happened to her. A few minutes later, Greg comes in with a tray of food. Oh, so you are awake. Why didn't you wake me up? You are already late for work. Sorry darling, I know, but you are more important since you aren't feeling well. I decided to make you some breakfast. I don't want you to struggle until you get better. Oh, that's sweet of you. So what do we have for breakfast? Here, he placed the tray on the bedside table. It was really delicious. Greg was a great cook. If only they could exchange their roles, she was thinking, but then he has to be the man and she has to take care of her husband, so it will be rare for her to have such delicious meals prepared by her husband. Thanks dear, you are good at cooking. You are welcome. How do you think I survived the years as a bachelor? I had to learn how to cook or else I would starve since I didn't really like food from outside. Greg made sure Mary was okay and had taken her medication before leaving for the office. He has something urgent that needs to be taken care of, but then he will be coming to check up on her since from home to the office isn't a big distance. He got himself ready and left. When Mary was left alone, she stayed up for some minutes but later fell asleep again. She was woken up by a call from her brother Fred. Hey sweetie, why are you not picking up your phone? Oh sorry, just heard it ringing just now. Wait, are you asleep by this time of the day? Not really, I'm not feeling really fine, so I decided to take a nap. Wait, did he do anything to hurt you? Stop that Fred, he did nothing, and I'm okay. I just feel off, but all is well. Well, if you say so. Are you home? Yeah, have been staying here lonely all day long. The days are so boring with no one around the house until my husband comes home in the evening. Sorry darling, but you will get used to it, and maybe when you have children you will no longer feel lonely. I'm not getting used to anything. In fact, I was thinking of getting back to work, but it's far away from here, so I think I will ask for a transfer to a hospital near that I will not have to struggle with long distance. That sounds nice. But do you think your husband will agree to that? Well, I don't think he has a reason not to agree. It's my job and he has his own. Furthermore, I am all alone and bored at home. At least I will have something keeping me busy. All the best then. I was just calling to check up on my sweet sister, and now that you are okay, I'm happy. Feel better soon. Okay bro, thanks for calling. I feel better now that I have spoken to you. When the call ended, Mary was thinking about how to approach the whole issue. She needs to get back to work or else boredom will kill her. Whatever happened yesterday is still a shock to her. She is yet to understand what came over her husband, or was it that he had a bad day at work? She was wondering and hoping that something like that should never happen to her in the future. She can't stand that kind of a slap again. It was still a shock to her that her sweet husband would raise his hand and slap her. She's yet to come into terms with that. Mary decided to let it slide, hoping that it will not repeat itself ever again, and hoped it was all a mistake. She felt better during the day and went out. She was sitting outside under the sun when she heard her phone ring again. She checked and smiled when she saw that it was Greg. "Hello darling, how are you faring?" he asked her. "Pretty good, I'm even basking out. I feel better than a while ago." "Wow, that's good news. At least I will not have to worry too much about your health." "Sure dear, just continue with what you were doing in the office. I will be waiting for you in the evening." "Okay, take good care of yourself for me." He said and hung up. Greg came home earlier that day and found Mary watching a variety show she liked following. He looked in a good mood, so they had a good time together. Mary had been tempted to tell her husband that she is bored at home alone all day, but then she holds it back every time she is about to say it. She doesn't know what's holding her back. She feels that since her husband is in a good mood, then it would be better to bring up the topic, but then another part of her tells her that she might ruin the happy moment they have together. Greg notices that there is something bothering his wife and asks, but then she said that it was nothing, but he still could see that she had something to say, but she was holding back for a reason he did not know. That is strange, he thought. If ever she has an issue, she always says it without giving it much of a thought. Maybe she will come along later, he thought. The following few days were very much okay because there was no argument between them. Mary was unable to tell her husband that she wants to get back to work. She called her former workplace and they asked if she would be going back since they miss her. She was very nice to everyone. "I'm sorry madam, I don't think I will be able to come back. In fact, the reason why I called you was to inform you that I want to transfer to a hospital close to my home since I can't make it there and back every day. What I will be doing is just traveling. Oh, I understand you got married and you are no longer living close by. That's sad to us. We already miss your presence in this place. I miss you people too, but after thinking and much consideration, I really have no other option. I understand. So when are you coming to clear with the hospital?" asked the manager. "Let me talk to my husband and I will be coming soon. I want you people to refer me to the Olive Hospital. I know you can, or to your branch in this place if they have a vacancy. Don't worry about that. Since you have been good and hardworking, we will just post you to our other branch in your area. They need 3 people there and I'm sure you can fill 1 position. Wow, that's the best news I've heard of late. Thank you so much, madam. It's well, when you do good, the good deeds will always follow you and vice versa, because if you were not nice I would not bother with you. But remember to be fast, they need replacement in the next 2 weeks latest, so you will have to hurry. You don't have to worry about that. 2 weeks is a lot of time, and Mary is that person who doesn't keep the good news to herself but also shares most of them with just one person, and that's her brother. She called Fred immediately after talking to the hospital manager. Everyone knows that Good Cure Hospital is a famous hospital and it is not easy to get a job there, so the fact that Mary got a transfer from one branch to another in the same hospital is really big news. Fred has always been there to listen to everything she shares, whether it makes sense or not. He has to listen, and for this particular news, he is happy for his sister. "Wow, that's great darling, seems luck is on your side. I'm happy for you and please use the opportunity wisely. There are many out there wishing they could have the chance to work with such a hospital but they never get it. I know, and I never joke with my job. Good luck dear sister." Thank you. When Greg came home in the evening, he met a beaming Mary. He wondered why she was so happy. Did anything happen? Or was it the same thing she has been wanting to tell him but could not? He wondered if the mood at home was sweet since she infected him with her happiness. After they had their meal, Mary told him that she had something to tell him. It was sure to come out. "What is it darling?" he asked. "Well, I have been wanting to tell you this for some time now and I think this is the right time to say it." "All right, what is it?" "Okay, since I stay home alone I have been experiencing boredom all day long and was thinking of how I can kill the boredom and, well, I still have a job and so I was thinking of resuming my job since I am not doing anything constructive at home. Oh, is that it?" "Yeah, but that hospital is very far away." I don't think you can make it there and back every day even if you are so willing to work. I know, darling, it's not near, and that is why I called the hospital to discuss the issue with the human resource manager. So you already called them? Yeah, and you are just letting me know about it. I called them just today, so I think the time is right to let you know. Okay, so what did you discuss with them? Well, since I am not close to that hospital, they agreed to give me a transfer to their branch in town. Darling, I am so happy. It isn't easy to get an opportunity in such a hospital, and they told me that they have 3 vacant positions and I should report before the end of 2 weeks, and I really have the chance. Oh, really? Wow, why do you look like you are not happy for me? Mary asked her husband. I am happy for you, darling. I'm just surprised you are telling me now. Oh, sorry if I did a mistake. I will soon be going to see the manager and clear with the hospital for me to be able to relocate. That's nice of you. So when are you traveling? The day after tomorrow I think will be okay. Let me arrange everything tomorrow, then I will leave the following day early in the morning so that I will be able to come back the same day. That is great, he said quietly. No one knows what he was thinking. The day finally came and Mary left very early. She did not want to spend the night there, so before she left, she prepared breakfast for her husband and everything else he would need before going to work. She was to drive all the way. She thought of taking a bus but then rejected the idea since it might take her long to wait for the bus, so she drove from home. 4 hours later, Mary was at the hospital. The manager was happy to see her as well as the other staff. They really missed her around, but some things are inevitable. She had to take care of her new home, and that means she will not be working with them anymore, but then she will be working with the same hospital branch in another town. She cleared everything up and had a long talk with the manager. She was almost her mother's age mate and they are really close and talk a lot. So she wanted to know how Mary was coping with this new part of her life. I'm doing really fine, and my husband is good as well. Feel so good about everything, and I hope everything remains the way it is. I'm happy to hear that, my dear. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and with love and understanding, it lasts forever. I wish you the very best, and may you have a successful one. Thank you so much, doctor. You know, I never thought things were that good, since you occasionally hear people talking bad about marriage, and people whose marriages failed will always be criticizing it and make people fear the institution. The manager laughed at that. But you did not take that to heart. That is why you are already married, isn't it? So, you are right. I listened to my heart instead and am happy I did. That's it, my dear. You have to trust yourself. People are unpredictable, and be careful and wise around your husband. These men are all good until you do something they don't like. They might change into someone you don't know. So cherish your love, pray for it, and more importantly, learn to listen to your husband. By listening, I mean being there when he needs someone to talk to or when he's bothered by something. You will always know when something is not right with him. At such moments, you don't have to talk, just listening to him is enough. It will make him feel better. I'm telling you something that has worked for me for years in my marriage, and whenever you people have an argument, try to always be cool. Sometimes it's hard, but you just need to try. Everything I can tell you will just end with one point. Your mouth can build or destroy your union, so try to control that. I understand that very well, she said to the manager. She had a small talk with the other friends before she bid them farewell. The following day, she will have to go to the hospital in town. Mary started driving back home at around 3:30 p.m. She knew she would arrive a little late, but it was good. She will get home. She always likes listening to soft music when driving since it soothes her mind and gives her a peaceful ride. When Mary got home, she was very tired. Luckily her husband was already home. Seems he got home earlier than on other days. She got in the house and kicked out her heels. What a long day she had. She actually hates driving for a long distance. Hey darling, you are already home. When did you get here? She asked Greg, who was silent all the while as if he did not notice her coming in. I got home long ago, only to be welcomed by a cold house. Tell me, Mary, is this how things are supposed to be? Should my wife not be home to welcome me once I get off work? Yes, darling, I know, and it happens every other day apart from today, and I'm sure we had discussed that I would be traveling, and that is why you did not meet me home, because I did not get home on time. Oh really, is that an excuse? You are supposed to be home before I get here, and where were you? Following up on your work, huh? Don't you know women are supposed to stay at home and take care of their homes and family? Are you for real? Asked the surprised Mary. Do I look like I am joking to you? And besides, I provide everything you need. What's even the need of you going to work, yet you lack nothing? Mary was more surprised and worried at the same time. What is this man talking about? Well, I am not going to work because I lack anything. it's for my passion and career, and despite I want to help people in society, so it is not entirely about myself. Oh, so you have now become Mother Teresa, darling. Can you at least listen to me for once? Mary, it is you who will listen to me. I think I made it clear earlier that I married you to take care of my home and me, so where is this whole thing of you going to work coming from? I thought you had no problem with my job, and besides I was already working when I had no problem then, but now I have a very big problem, and if you don't want more problems you will get into the kitchen and make me food. I can't be starving while you are going up and down for nothing as if your husband doesn't take good care of you. My dear, I'm very tired right now, so please help me out and make something for yourself. Are you mad or something? So you expect me to go to the kitchen and cook for myself while you are seated here? It's just for today, my dear. Besides, it isn't a big deal. I mean, you always cook sometimes. Well, from today on, it is a big deal, and a very big one, because this is how women start disrespecting their husbands when they think they're good to sustain themselves and work for money. Let's not make a big deal out of this, please, and it has nothing to do with work, so just wait. I will make you something to eat even though I am very tired. You are tired because you traveled for a few hours. What about when you start working again? Will you ever do anything in this house? He was left asking when she left for the kitchen. Greg has been thinking of how to prevent Mary from going to work. According to him, there is no point of her going to work. He married her and she belongs to him, thus she is not allowed to go messing around with others. She is not lacking anything, and he is jealous of her showing her beauty to other men in the hospital or wherever she wants to go and work. She belongs to only him, and that is his final decision. Mary, who was so hell-bent on getting back to work, was very disturbed as she is not going to allow her husband dictate her life path. She had talked with her boss and she was sure once the transfers are done she is going to start working in the branch close to her. She can't wait. It's a matter of a few days. Greg will have to accept that Mary also has her own choices of life and he can't just sabotage her dreams because he married her. The following evening, Greg came back home earlier than usual and he looked so happy. Mary was wondering what was up with him. Hey darling, today you don't look tired at all. What's up? Well, let's say I'm in a good mood. My day at the office has been refreshing and I'm so happy I crossed a very huge deal today, he said. Wow, congratulations my dear. This calls for a celebration. I thought so too. Get ready, we are going out tonight. My treat, he said happily. This was so unlike the new Greg she knew. It's like he was getting back to the sweet Greg she knew when they first fell in love, and she was loving it, for once in a long time. She was feeling good. She went upstairs to prepare. Greg too needed to freshen up and change his clothes, so they both got busy and after about an hour, they were good to go. Greg had already called in for a reservation, so their table was set on time. When they got to the restaurant, Mary was beyond happy. She hoped the days to come will always be like this. She even started praying for her husband to get such deals so that she could not see the sour side of him. Oftenly they enjoyed their meal and the special red wine that was prepared for them. When they were done, it was already late in the night, so they just needed to drive back home, which they did in silence with soothing and sweet music all the way home. The night was refreshing for Mary. They made love in the most passionate way and did not realize when they fell asleep. The next morning they were woken up by the alarm. Mary got up first and went downstairs to make breakfast for Greg before he could go to work. Luckily, he was not late to work when he left home. Mary was left home enjoying the memories of the previous night. She then remembered that she needed to be at the hospital at 10 a.m. She started getting ready. She knew this was a sure bet. When Greg comes home in the evening, she will try to reason with him so that he will not have a problem with her going to work. Besides, he is in a good mood, so he should understand her, so she thought. When Mary got ready, she left home for the hospital. The overall manager was in his office with a guest, and so she had to wait at the reception. She waited for almost 20 minutes. When the guest left, Mary was asked to go in, which she did happily. Hello sir, my name is Mary and I was transferred from the main branch and I was told to report to work today. Here are my documents. The manager was surprised and looked at her quizzically. Madam Mary, I thought you said you are no longer interested with the job and so we gave your slot to someone else. I don't understand what you are talking about, she said, stuttering. You should understand. What's happening? I went to the head office a few days ago and they agreed on the transfer I requested because there was a gap here and they asked me to report today. So what are you saying, sir? What saying is that? Yesterday, you said that you were no longer interested in the job and actually someone else already took the job. So what are you talking about? I'm yet to understand. I have not been here before, so how did I reject an offer I have so much love to get? I'm not that stupid and you should clearly explain to me what you are talking about. I'm sure it wasn't my ghost that came here either. Well, to make things clear, your husband came here yesterday, he said. He was here on your behalf. He explained to me that he was your husband, and said that you have not been feeling fine for some time now, so you both discussed to let the opportunity pass. Maybe when you get well you might consider looking for a job again. He also told me that you were referred, and since the slot needed someone, I should not keep waiting for you, that you might take long to recover. He is your husband, and so I could not doubt him, and that is how I called the second qualified person from you and gave him the opportunity. So you mean my husband made you give away my only opportunity? Why didn't you even give me a call to confirm if it was true or not? Do you mean you people had not agreed on everything before he came here? Sir, I did not even know he was here, and as you can see I am perfectly fine. Can I please have my job? I can't afford to lose it. I'm sorry, Mary, there is nothing I can do about it at this point. The slot is gone. Maybe next time when there is an opening I will contact you, since you are highly qualified. Thank you, sir. You are welcome, and I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. When an opportunity comes up I will consider you first, said the manager. Mary's world was shattered. No one understands how much she loves her job, and now it's gone. No one knows whether she will be able to get it back. The hospital doesn't have opportunities oftenly. She knows the manager was just being nice. It might even take up to 10 years to get a slot there. She now understands why Greg was so happy last night. He succeeded in destroying her dreams. It was the big deal he had crossed, and he made her celebrate with him. How cruel. When Mary went home, she was moody the whole evening. Greg, her husband, was already there, sitting on the couch with a smug smile on his face. Mary knew something was off. You seem awfully happy today, she said, trying to mask her irritation. What can I say? Today was a good day, Greg replied, his grin widening. Mary's suspicions were confirmed. She had been working hard on a project at the hospital, and Greg had been against it from the start. She had a feeling he had something to do with her sudden job loss. Did you have something to do with it? She asked, her voice shaking with anger. Whatever do you mean, my dear? Greg feigned innocence. Don't play dumb. You went to the hospital and told them I no longer needed the job, didn't you? Mary's voice rose with every word. Greg's face hardened. Watch your mouth, woman, he said through gritted teeth. Mary couldn't take it anymore. Is this what you wanted? To destroy my career and make me miserable? To control me like a puppet? Greg's mask finally slipped. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. I married you to be my perfect little wife. You have everything you need, so just stay at home and take care of me. Mary's heart sank. She had married him for love, but now it seemed like she had made a grave mistake. As she stood in the kitchen, cooking dinner for her husband, she couldn't help but think about how different her life could have been if she had stood up for herself and followed her dreams. But as she served Greg his meal, she knew she was stuck in this life, controlled by a man who only saw her as a possession. She had been blinded by love, but now it was clear that she had married the wrong man. And it was a mistake that she couldn't easily undo. She was trapped, helpless in a web of deceit spun by her own husband, Greg. He had painted a picture of the perfect man for her to her family and friends. They adored him, showering him with praise and admiration. But she knew the truth, the monster he truly was. She tried to speak up, to tell them about the dark side of her husband, but they wouldn't listen. They were blinded by his charm and charisma. She felt like she was screaming into a void, her words falling on deaf ears. And so she remained trapped, imprisoned in a life that was nothing like the picture Greg had painted. She couldn't escape, no matter how much she tried. For she was now helpless, a mere pawn in her husband's game of deception. Mary sat at her desk, staring at her computer screen with a heavy heart. She had always dreamed of becoming an expert in her field, and she had worked tirelessly to achieve that goal. But now, as she scrolled through job listings, she couldn't help but feel like her dreams were slipping away. Her controlling husband had convinced her to quit her job and focus on their family. But now, with their children grown and out of the house, Mary was left with a void. She had sacrificed so much for her husband's happiness, and now it seemed like she had nothing to show for it. With a heavy sigh, Mary closed her laptop and looked around her. The walls of her home seemed to close in on her, suffocating her dreams. But then, something caught her eye. A blank canvas, sitting in the corner of her studio. Without hesitation, Mary grabbed her paintbrushes and let her creativity flow. As she painted, she felt a sense of freedom and purpose she hadn't felt in years. Maybe this was the beginning of a new career, one that she truly loved and controlled. As she signed her name on the finished painting, Mary knew that her dreams were far from over. They were just beginning. She had always dreamed of becoming a doctor, of using her medical skills to make a difference in her community. And after years of hard work and determination, she finally landed a slot at the prestigious hospital. But her controlling husband had other plans for her. He saw her success as a threat to his dominance and power. He wanted her to give up her dreams and stay home, under his control. But she refused to let him decide her future. She fought for her place at the hospital, using every connection and ounce of experience she had in medicine. And just when she thought she had won, her husband intervened, shattering her dreams. But she refused to give up. She vowed to keep fighting, to not let anyone stand in the way of her dreams. She would find a way to use her skills to help her community, no matter what her husband said. Because she was a strong, independent woman, and no one could take that away from her. Mary sat alone in her quiet house, her mind racing with thoughts of her husband Greg. It had only been a few months since they exchanged vows, but it felt like a lifetime ago. Greg had changed, becoming someone she didn't recognize. He was cold, distant, and volatile. Every time she tried to talk to him, he would lash out at her, leaving her feeling helpless. As the days passed, Mary stayed at home, lost in her own thoughts. She couldn't understand what had happened to the man she fell in love with. Was it something she did? Was it the stress of their new marriage? She didn't have any answers, but she knew she couldn't continue living like this. One day, as she was sorting through old photos, she stumbled upon a picture of Greg when they first met. His smile was infectious, and she remembered how happy they were. Suddenly, a realization hit her like a bolt of lightning. The change in Greg had coincided with the promotion he received at work. He had been working long hours and seemed stressed out all the time. Maybe that was the reason for his behavior. With a newfound determination, Mary decided to confront Greg. She would find a way to help him through whatever was causing him to act this way. She loved him and was not willing to give up on their marriage so easily. That week, she made it her mission to find a solution. She reached out to his colleagues and learned that Greg had been struggling with the pressure of his new position. With their help, she organized a surprise getaway for the two of them. As the sun set on the quiet suburb, little did she know her surprise would be received with violence. Her heart raced with anticipation as she approached Greg, carrying a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolates. She had been planning this surprise for weeks, hoping to finally confess her feelings for him. But as she knocked on the door, she was greeted with a cold and hostile Greg. "What do you want?" he barked. Shocked, she stammered out her surprise, only to be met with a cruel and hurtful response. Confused and heartbroken, she turned to leave, only to be grabbed by Greg's rough hands. In that moment, she realized that her surprise was not the only thing that Greg had misunderstood. He thought she needed a favor from him, and since he did not want to cooperate, he started mistreating her. As the tears streamed down her face, she knew that the surprise she had planned had turned into a nightmare. But little did she know, this was just the beginning of a dangerous game of manipulation and violence that Greg had been playing all along. Mary had never imagined her fairy tale love story would turn into a nightmare. Her once charming husband had become controlling and abusive. She knew she had to leave, but she had no money or support system. As she lay in bed, tears streaming down her face, Mary had an idea. She would start her own business. She had always been a talented expert in the field of medicine, and her skills were well recognized. She worked tirelessly, saving every penny. And one day, she had enough to leave. But just as she was about to walk out the door, her husband came home with a bouquet of flowers, begging for forgiveness. Mary smiled, knowing she no longer needed to survive the nightmare. She could leave, and she was ready to leave. She had packed her bags and was about to step out the door, when she suddenly felt a wave of nausea wash over her. She clutched her stomach and stumbled back, her mind racing with confusion. She had been feeling off for weeks now, but she never thought it could be due to a pregnancy. And not just any pregnancy, but a pregnancy from her narcissistic husband. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the gravity of the situation. She couldn't leave now, not with a child on the way. She sank to the floor, feeling trapped and scared. But she knew deep down that this child would be her saving grace, her reason to finally break free from her toxic marriage. With a newfound determination, she stood up, wiped away her tears and walked out the door, ready to face whatever came her way. Mary smiled, knowing she no longer needed to survive the nightmare. She could leave, and she was ready to leave. She had packed her bags and was about to step out the door when she suddenly felt a wave of nausea wash over her. She clutched her stomach and stumbled back, her mind racing with confusion. She had been feeling off for weeks now, but she never thought it could be due to a pregnancy. And not just any pregnancy, but a pregnancy from her narcissistic husband. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the gravity of the situation. She couldn't leave now, not with a child on the way. She sank to the floor, feeling trapped and scared. But she knew deep down that this child would be her saving grace, her reason to finally break free from her toxic marriage. With a newfound determination, she stood up, wiped away her tears and walked out the door, ready to face whatever came her way. She had packed her bags and was ready to walk out the door when Greg's hand grabbed her arm. "Where do you think you're going?" he sneered. Mary's heart raced as she turned to face him. "I'm leaving you, Greg." "I can't take it anymore," she declared. But Greg only laughed. "Who do you think will listen to you? How do you want people to see me after learning that my wife has left me?" Mary's resolve wavered as she realized the hold Greg had over her. But then she remembered the words of her therapist, "You deserve better." And with that, she pushed past Greg and walked out the door. Greg knew he could not let Mary leave. She was his rock, his light, his everything. But he also knew with his rough exterior and gruff personality, no woman would want to stay with him for long. So, he had to find a way of soothing her back. As Mary walked out the door, Greg quickly followed her. He knew she needed space, but he couldn't let her go without a fight. He caught up to her and gently grabbed her hand. "Let's take a walk," he said, his voice surprisingly soft. They strolled through the park, the leaves crunching beneath their feet. Greg pointed out the beauty in the small things, like a butterfly fluttering by or a child giggling as they played. As the sun began to set, Mary turned to Greg with tears in her eyes. "I don't want to leave," she whispered. Greg pulled her into a tight embrace, his tough exterior melting away. "Then don't," he said, his voice full of emotion. And in that moment, Mary knew she never wanted to leave Greg's side. He may not have been perfect, but he was perfect for her. And with a newfound understanding and appreciation for each other, Mary walked back inside, her heart heavy with conflicting emotions. Deep down, she knew going back to the so-called marriage with her Greg was a mistake. But her heart ached for his love, the love she never truly let go of. She remembered the good times, the laughter, the passion. But she also remembered the constant lies, the hurtful words, the broken promises. Yet, she found herself standing in their matrimonial home. Mary had always been hesitant to share her news with Greg. Their marriage had been rocky lately, with constant bickering and misunderstandings. She was afraid that telling him about her pregnancy would only add fuel to the fire. But as her belly grew, it became harder for her to hide the truth. She knew she had to tell him, but she didn't know how. So she decided to write a letter, pouring out all her fears and doubts. To her surprise, Greg's reaction was not what she expected. He hugged her tightly and whispered, "We'll figure it out together, Mary." And in that moment, all their fights and misunderstandings seemed insignificant. They were going to be parents, and that was all that mattered. Out of nowhere, Greg's entire demeanor changed. From his rough and tough exterior, he suddenly became gentle and caring. His friends were taken aback by this sudden transformation, wondering what could have caused such a shift. But then they heard the news. Greg was going to be a father. And it was as if the mere thought of it had touched him in the deepest parts of his soul. The joy and excitement of becoming a parent had melted away all the hardness he had built up over the years. He eagerly attended parenting classes, read books on child development, and even started knitting tiny baby clothes. His friends couldn't believe it, but they were happy to see their tough friend become the happiest he had ever been. Greg and Mary had a beautiful marriage. They laughed, they loved, and they built a life together that seemed unbreakable. But one day, everything changed. Mary's longtime friend, Sarah, came to visit her at home. As she looked around, she noticed their wedding picture on the wall. But what caught her eye was the man standing next to Mary in the photo. It was Greg, but Sarah knew him too well. Years ago, Greg had married Sarah's younger sister. But their marriage didn't last long. Greg was unfaithful and constantly mistreated her, until she couldn't take it anymore and divorced him. Sarah was shocked to see Greg with Mary, and she couldn't help but wonder if history would repeat itself. She decided to confront Mary and tell her everything. Mary was devastated. She couldn't believe that the man she loved had hurt someone so close to her. But Greg denied everything and convinced Mary that Sarah was just trying to cause trouble. However, as time went by, Mary started to notice small things about Greg that reminded her of Sarah's accusations. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One day, while cleaning the attic, Mary found a box full of old belongings. As she rummaged through it, she found a stack of letters from Greg's ex-wife. In them, she poured her heart out, detailing the abuse and infidelity she endured during their marriage. Mary was heartbroken. She realized that Sarah was telling the truth all along. She confronted Greg, but he denied it once again.